Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. And today I'm talking about end-to-end testing. That is something that I don't really like. I've never liked testing. But yeah, it's a little bit of a journey. So I want to explain my journey about testing and what I've been using in the last 10 years and what is for me the best one of these, the one that I've tried at least. So my name is Soumaya and I'm from Italy. I work in Atlantis as a senior software engineer. And yeah, I speak at a lot of conferences, mainly about front-end stuff and anything that is Web3 or application, in particular with Angular and Web3. And yeah, I just like everything that is technology, from IT to electronics and stuff. So testing, I used to do testing, not because I was enjoying doing testing, but because someone was telling me to do that. And it was like a nightmare because it never works. And yeah, it's a lot of time and you don't know why they are not working. And yeah, as a junior developer, it was like the worst thing for me. And yeah, I changed that when I became a team leader in this team, in this small company. I had a lot of juniors that were working with me, and doing testing wasn't the best. So I was like, okay, now I can decide we are not doing testing anymore. And yeah, it was a disaster. It was really a disaster. So yeah, I started looking for some sort of tests that are more enjoying doing, and also that was more helpful for me. So I started looking for something that will ensure that my application will be ready to use for the user, and was 100% sure that what I've been implementing in my application was actually working for the user. So this is what was important for me, and I started trying end-to-end testing. And I like end-to-end testing because I think they cover two things that are fundamental for me. So they verify that the functionalities and the performance of my application are exactly what I want it to be. So just simulating some real user experience in my application, they are making sure that the performance that I want for my application is what I wanted, and also all the functionalities that I've implemented in my application are actually working as I wanted. So I started using these automatic UI testing tools, and I think that they are really important because they actually do in your application what you could do manually, but it's just automated. So you can say to these tools to click on a button, insert some data in inputs, just real user experience on your application. And it's just automating that and making it a lot faster. And for years, Selenium was the #1 tool, because it was the first one out there that was actually accessible for everyone. And it was really used. And I think that for many years, it was the only choice that was there. And also I think now it's still really used if you are going to big corporates where you have really big applications that are out there for years. They're still using that. And I think that the community is still really big. But I want to talk about these three because I started with Selenium 9 years ago or so, and then I switched to Cypress, and now I'm using still Cypress, but a little bit of Playwright. So I think that are three great tools, open source tools, and they work really well, but they are a little bit different one from the other. So I want to go through this tree and make some consideration with you. So let's start with Selenium because like it's the first one. It was released in 2004, so 20 years ago. It's like pretty old. And actually Selenium, like there wasn't a real tool, open source tool at that time. There was one competitor at that time that was called Mercury Interactive. And Mercury Interactive was really expensive, and everyone was using that because like it was like the only choice. And this guy, Jason, wanted to do something that was open source, so affordable for everyone, accessible. And he wanted to do something that was a little bit like in contrast with Mercury. So he called this tool Selenium, also like as an element, because the element Selenium is in contrast with the element Mercury. So fun fact about the name. And yeah, it was like the first open source tool for end-to-end testing. And it actually works a little bit different from what it was because at the start, it wasn't like the best tool. It took some years to get to this solution that was like WebDriver. Actually, it was like another tool was developed that was called WebDriver and then was integrated into Selenium and started like Selenium 2.0. That is like the Selenium that we all know today. So how it works, we have like these drivers that communicate with the browser. So we are not like working inside the browser. So we are working outside the browser, and we have like these APIs that communicate with the browser and like gives commands what to do to the browser and receive back like the response for that. And Selenium is, it has great support for programming language, so you can like use it for pretty much every programming language, and that was like a big thing for that, because it was like really important to have like coverage for everyone, and not just programming language, it has like support also like for browser, so you can use actually Selenium on any browser. So big pros about Selenium, you have language support, browser support, and a large community, because it was like out there like for 20 years. So there are a lot of people talking about Selenium, a lot of people that want to support you if you are working with Selenium. So I found a lot of communities that if you ask a question, they will like answer and give you support a lot. And this is like really important to have a great community. Something that I don't really like about Selenium, it's a little bit slow. In particular, like if you have like a big project, you can find like the execution to be a lot slow. You have the famous flaky tests, because sometimes you get some error, but they are not like really error because something is not working. Just Selenium doesn't have like automatic waiting for like components to be ready to be interactive. So sometimes it just tries to click on or like interact with some components that are not rendered yet. So that was like really a big problem, because you need to handle the waiting of the elements to be ready to be interactive. And also like the setup is not like the easiest one, in particular like for beginners. So let's see it in action, how it works, how we can like implement it in our application. So I did a really simple, it's just like HTML and JS, just a simple calculator with like 2 inputs and 2 buttons, and we want like to write some tests to replicate some data that we can actually do on our application, but we want the tool to do it for us. So let's see it. It's just like 2 inputs, an add button and a subtract. So if I put like 10 and 5, I can add and subtract, I get a result. So I have like something to visual, so I can like write tests on that. And I've written some tests here, but I want to show you that I don't need like any dependencies, particular dependencies. I just need to install Selenium WebDriver, because it's the one that we are using. And when we are writing tests, it's just like a function that has like everything on it. So you can put like all the tests inside this function, and they will be executed one after the other. So if one will fail, it will not like execute the other tests. And this is something that we don't really like that much. So what we need from Selenium WebDriver to have the driver itself, because it's the one that allows us to communicate with the browser. So once we have like this browser that is like, we are using this builder from Selenium WebDriver, and we want to specify which browser we want to use. In this case, I want to use Chrome. And once we have the WebDriver, we can like get the actual page where my application is running, and I can like write in the inputs. In this case, I have like the inputs of the two numbers, and I'm writing something on that. I can click on the button that I'm finding with the ID, and then I will check that the result is the exact same of the one that I'm expecting. So I will find the result, and I'm expecting it to be 15, result 15. In case of failure, I need to add a message. So Selenium will not like check and manage the errors for me. So I need to put a message error for me to understand where the actual test is failed. So I need an error message every time I check some results. And then I will just like, if everything is fine, I will just console log all tests passed, because if this one will fail, the code will actually stop there. So will not like execute anything else. So let's try to run it. So I'm running this one. So it's super fast because it's like really easy, but I want to show you what's happening actually, just for this one, just to make sure how end-to-end testing works. So I've just put some slips to like see actually what's going on the browser. So you have like the first inputs, the second inputs, and it's clicking on the button. We are getting the first result. It's checking that the results are the same, so the first is correct, and the second one is correct too. So here in my terminal, I have like all tests passed. And let me go back to the faster one. If I just change this one, I will get this test failed, addition test failed. And as you can see, it stops here because he couldn't like go on and check the other tests. So this is how it actually works. I want to show you something a little bit more advanced. Not too much, but something a little bit different. For example, I want to take a screenshot of what's going on. If the test is failed, I want a screenshot of like the web page to see what's going on actually. To do that, there isn't like something actually from Selenium, but we can handle that. So I'm doing like this function that it actually will create a folder where the screenshot will be saved, and I can have like this driver take screenshot. Driver is our driver from Selenium. We can like do take screenshot and save the file inside our folder. So, and then I will run my test calculator function, and I have like the same driver, but here I can add some arguments. In particular, like I can add these headless arguments to the Chrome options. Headless, it means that I want my tests to execute without opening up the browser. So I don't want Chrome to open up. I just want it to run on the background and just get the results. So in this case, if I'm using the headless mode, it will be faster to execute. So I can use the headless mode, and then, like before, I have like my builder. I'm adding the Chrome because I want to do use Chrome for the browser, and add the Chrome options that was like in this case just the headless mode. And then I have like the same test cases. In this case, I made like an array of tests. So in this case, it's a little bit like better to read and also like to add extra tests without like putting a lot of code. So I have like the result that I'm expecting, and for the add and for the subtract. And here I just do like a loop with like getting the numbers, clear the inputs, and adding the new number from the arrays. And I just have like an error message. This one is already like every time I need to add a type of error. And yeah, let's try to run this one just to show you. So I'm using the headless mode, so I'm not expecting the browser to open up. So it will open, but it's like on the background. Here something happened. So I have like I had like 3 tests for addition and subtraction. So I have like the first one is passed, the second one is passed, and the third one is passed. So all tests passed. And this is a little bit like faster. And in case of failure, I have like the screenshots. So I can like make a test fail just to see that it will take a screenshot for me, because here we have like test failed. If we have like the driver, we will take a screenshot. So if I run this again, so the test is failed here. The second subtraction test failed. And here I have this new folder that is screenshot, and I have like this this one, and it's showing me that I've added 20 and 10. The result is 10, but in my case, I put it that the result should be 11. So I can have like an indication what was going on and why my tests are not correct. So this is like for Selenium, just an easy use case. Let's move on to the second one, that is Cypress. Cypress is like the middle one, also like in terms of like time, because it arrived 10 years after Selenium, and it was developed by this guy, Brian. He was actually using Selenium before, and he wasn't like happy about that. And he wanted to build something that was like really enjoyable from developers, because he was a developer. He was using this tool. So he wanted like the developer experience to be the best. So it was actually also like the period where all the front-end frameworks was like popular at the time. So Angular, React, Vue was like a thing, really a thing, because it's something new. So he wanted like to do an end-to-end testing tool that was really helpful in that particular scenario. So we have like something a little bit particular, because it's specialized in end-to-end testing, also component testing, but it's more like popular for end-to-end testing. And in particular, it's specialized in just JavaScript. So we have like an ecosystem. So Cypress works with JavaScript and with TypeScript, of course, but it's like just that. So you are using end-to-end testing, JavaScript ecosystem, and also it works just on Chromium. So you have like a really special niche where you can use Cypress. So good things about Cypress, the developer experience is really good because they wanted it to be like that. We have finally automatic waiting, so we don't need to handle that flaky test, because we have like the actual tool that is waiting the components to be ready to be interactive, so we don't need to handle that. And also we have error report that is automatic from the tool. We don't need to write any error message now because the tool will handle that for us. Something that I don't really enjoy when I'm using Cypress, we need plugins for like extra things. So if we are like basic, we are like all right. But sometimes we want to do something a little bit particular, and we need like to build something, some extra plugin to do that. Sometimes there are already like plugins that allows you to do some stuff, but you need to know about that. So it's a little bit like difficult to know the limitation, the actual limitation about that. We have limited browser support because it works just on Chromium, and we have like only JavaScript. Only JavaScript is accounts, but it's still also like a pro for me because like it's something really specific. So if you are like working with JavaScript and you want like end-to-end testing for JavaScript, you know that Cypress is built for that. So it should be like the best for that. So let's see it in action and see how it works. Oh. So here, let me close that. I have like the same demo, but in this case, I'm using Cypress. So I just need to install Cypress. When I'm installing Cypress, it will create something for me. It will create the Cypress config. This is like the basic one. I don't need like extra things. We have like the fixture folders, and we have like the setup for the base URL where my application is running. And then I have this Cypress folder where I have end-to-end, and in here I have like my tests, and I have support if I want like some extra commands or like plugins that I want to use, I will put that in that folder. So actually when you install Cypress do like everything basic for you, so it's actually pretty ready to be used. So in this case, I will just show you the first test. So here we have like something a little bit different. It's like more modern. We know this this way of writing tests. As you can see, it's not like one big function where you have like everything on it. So we are using like Cypress to do tests. Separate test, and when you run one test and it will fail, it will continue to run the other ones. And this is like something really important for us. Here we have like same thing. We are like getting the inputs, clicking on the button and getting the result, and we just need the expected result. So I will tell Cypress that I want this kind of result with that input, and in case of error, it will manage that for us. So we have like multiple ways to run the test. We can like just use Cypress run, and it will run on the background, so will not open up the browser. Otherwise, I can open it with the browser, with Cypress Run, or we can use the actual Cypress UI that I really like. So I will show you that. We are going to use Cypress Open, and it will open up this UI. I can choose which type of test I want to use. The browser is Chrome, and here I will have like it will display us which files I have in my application. So these are like the 3 files that he found about end-to-end testing. In this case, we are looking at the first one, this calculator, and it will run the test for us. Here you have, let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. You will have like, this is like 2 tests are like passed. And here you can have like some details, and you can actually explore like step by step what was going on. And I think this is like really useful, in particular in case of failure of the test, because if it's passed, we're not gets to look into that. But in case of failure, you can actually see what have been doing in the application, and then get the actual moment of the error. So sometimes with Cypress, I don't need like to take like videos or screenshots of what's going on, because I just open the UI and everything is really clear. So let's see something else. I have some advanced one. It's not like that advanced, but yeah. So here I was just like trying to handle some large numbers to see how it will be interacting, in particular JavaScript, how it works. You know that JavaScript don't like to handle numbers really well. And then I want to like clear the inputs and like rewrite and see if there will be like some extra clicking on buttons or stuff. And then I want to check also like if the 2 buttons are disabled. So I was disabling the button if the inputs are empty. So I want to make sure that the button is still disabled, so I can have like this property enabled or disabled in case of the behavior of a button. So if I have like just one inputs field, the 2 buttons should be disabled. If the 2 inputs are filled, the buttons should be enabled. And then here I can actually measure the response time. So I can like also have like this possibility to handle how much time do I need to make an interaction. This is like really handy if you want to calculate if like the response from an API is like too long for the user. It's just like to fix some performance issues. Here I was like trying to see if my application is working on different screen sizes. So if I'm using like iPhone, an iPad, or like a big desktop, and like want to see in based on the viewport if my test was passed or not. And then I want to just do a screenshot after an addition in this case. So was just clicking on add, and then I want to take a screenshot to see that everything was all right. But like in particular, like screenshots, you can like add it everywhere in your code, but when it actually, the code is failed, you can, in the configuration, tell Cypress to take a screenshot every time there is like a test failed. And also here, just have like, I want to check if I have any empty inputs and the buttons are disabled. So let's run this one. So here, I just do Cypress open, and I will choose the right file. So in this case, I'm using Calculator Advanced, and as you can see, it will run. Okay, everything is passed. I want to show you, like, for example, the, not this one, like the different screen sizes. In this case, I was checking if for iPhone was working, or like for iPad, or for a big screen. So as you can see, you can like also navigate through what was going on, and I think it's really handy. Here was taking a screenshot of this particular page, so I'm expecting it to have a screenshot folder here, and I have the 2 screenshots that I've took in the last 2 tests. Here I have after addition, this one, so I was clicking on add, and was being taken the screenshot, and in this case with empty inputs. So the 2 inputs have been like cleared, and he just took a screenshot of that. Last thing that I want to show you with Cypress is adding some custom commands. So here in commands, I have something that I've just created. It's just like adding a function that will automate something for me. So I want this command to perform calculation, and I want to insert the two inputs that I want to use, the operation that I'm using, so addition or subtraction, and the expected result. So adding this for information, I can run any type of calculation in my application. So once I have like this information, I will just get the two inputs, clear it, so I'm sure that they are empty, and type the new numbers. And then if the operation is add, I will click the button add. If the operation is subtract, I will click the subtract button, and I'm getting the result, and I want to make sure that it's equal to the result that I'm expecting. So this is like a command that will like do everything that I was doing in my code directly. So here in my tests, if I want like to do some tests, so here I have like 3 tests, and I just have one line of code because like everything is handled inside the command. So I'm using the Cypress perform calculation. It works just like normal commands, but it's like a custom one. I'm inserting the two inputs, so 10 and 5 are the two inputs. I'm adding, so I want to do the operation add, and 15 is the expected result. Here for the second one, I will change this just to show an error. And I will try to run this one. Here, end-to-end testing, and I want the custom command. So here something is not working. Okay. And the last one have been executed and is successful. So here the first one was working fine. The second one, I wanted to see an error. So I was typing the first input. The second, I clicked on subtract. I got result 13. But here I have the error message from Cypress that is like, you was expecting to have result 19, but the text was result 13. So you actually have a real indication of what was going on. And also here you have like the indication of the line of code where the actual tests have been failing. Okay, so yeah, this is enough for Cypress. So let's say the last one and the younger one of the group, that is Playwright. Playwright was actually, it's a Microsoft product, but it was actually built from a team from Puppeteer. So they were working on Google, and with Puppeteer, they was like actually forced to work just on Chrome. So they wasn't like really happy about that. So they started working on this project that was actually Playwright on Google at first. And they wanted to do something open source, and that was like really helpful. But they was like also limited in Google because they was working just with Chrome, and they wanted to open up, like doing something really similar to Selenium, but modern. And they then just left Google, and Microsoft helped them with this project. And this is actually a Microsoft product now. It was developed in 2019, 2020, and it's actually really growing. Even if it's really young, it's actually really popular these days. So yeah, it's something a little bit similar of something of the past, because Playwright as Selenium works outside the browser. Cypress instead works inside the browser. So it's like going back to something that was old for us. So we had also like a lot of programming language support, so it's something really similar to Selenium. And also we have like support for browsers, so we are getting back, but it's with something a little bit like more more modern and more like useful for developers. So we have language and browser support, and we have the headless mode. In Selenium, we can use this headless mode, but it's something that have been added like lately. Playwright have been built with headless mode and also automatic waiting. And then we have like support for mobile emulation. And this is like something really cool, because finally we can actually do end-to-end testing with mobile phones as well. Something that it's a little bit about Playwright. We have some complex APIs, so it's not that intuitive to work with that. The syntax is a little bit complex. I think that the documentation is not that good on the official website. They need to work on that. And the community is really small, so sometimes if you are stuck, it's a little bit difficult to have like someone helping you, because it's just too young, but it's going there. So let's see how it works. So here we have Playwright, and we can use Playwright as it is, just Playwright, and we can use it like inside other testing tools, like we can use it like with Jasmine, with Jest, so we can write some like traditional tests, like this one. I was like using Jest in this case, and I'm just using Playwright. So I'm using the power of Playwright, but with like something that I already know, like Jest or like Jasmine or Mocha, wherever you want to use. Or I can use Playwright tests. Playwright tests is like more a suite that I can use to write my tests. So here I have like a simple type of test with Playwright test. But before that, I want to show you the configuration. So here you can like add a lot of things. So I'm using Playwright tests, and I want to specify which folder I have like my tests. So the test directory, in this case, I want to run for the first one, the folder tests. The timeout, so how much time it should be waiting until I'm getting like an error in case of failure. So I'm adding like 30 seconds for as a default timeout. The number of retries, so if the test is failed, if I want the Playwright to retry to run the tests, so I can add some retries. And then the base URL, the headless mode, if I want it. If you don't write anything, it will be like false from default, but you can like add a headless mode if you want. If you want like screenshot, I'm adding just on failure, so only on failure, and also like video retain on failure, because in case of failure, I want to take a screenshot and also like just record a video of the failed tests. And then projects, we can like specify which browser I want to run my tests on. So in this case, I'm like configuring Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. So I want to test on like all the browsers that are important for me. But if you don't specify anything when you are running the test, so if you're just run Playwright tests, it will run everything on every browser. So if I have like 2 tests, it will run the 2 tests on Chrome, and then on Firefox, and then on WebKit. If you want just to run on one project, you need to specify which browser you want to use. So in this case, I'm just doing Playwright test and adding the flag project Chromium, so it will run just on Chrome. And yeah, let's see some tests. So here, I am doing this test. I can use also like a mode In this case, I'm using serial mode because I want the tests to run one after the other, so in serial. But I can also like use parallel, so every test will run at the same time. And this is like making running tests really, really fast. So here I'm like entering the browser and stuff and filling the two numbers, clicking on the button, getting the result, and like making sure that the result is the same. So we have like an experience similar to Cypress because it's like just getting the tests separate one from the other and just getting the expected result, and everything will be managed from the tool. So let's run it and see how it works. I will run everything first to like show you. It will open up the three browsers, and I will get like from Chrome, Firefox, and WebKit the first, the second, and the third test. So 6 passed because it was like two tests for each browser. And then here I can like just use it on Chrome, so it will open up just Chrome here, and I will get like the 2 tests that are passed. And here I have like also the information about the worker that is actually doing the work for us. That is like the connection with the browser here. And I have like some test results I can have. Also here I want to make an error just to show you how it will be handled. So if I'm putting 10, test on Chromium, and here I have this that is like failed, and you have like the received result, so which test is actually failed and what was happening. And here you can also have like here the screenshot of what's actually was happening. So yeah, it's pretty similar to Selenium, but it works in a different way. And you can like also like the parallel running of the tests is really, really useful. So yeah, this is for Playwright. You can do a lot of other stuff. But I want to make some consideration for you because like we were talking about which one is the best testing tool. So which one is the best? The correct answer is always it depends. But yeah, we can do some consideration. So if we are thinking about Cypress and Playwright, they are like pretty new, in particular Playwright, but they are becoming really popular, and Cypress is really used, and Playwright as well is actually more used than this Cypress in this time, because like if you see like the green one is like Selenium, and you have like Cypress that has like have been here there like for 10 years, so it's like pretty used. But Playwright, it's actually growing, and now we are like over 7,000 downloads this year, so it's actually impressive. If we want like to choose between these ones, Cypress comes as a package, so it's a particular like ecosystem. You need to use end-to-end testing with JavaScript and in Chrome, so it's like particular ecosystem. With Playwright, you have like freedom. You can use whatever type of test you want, and also the browser and the language that you want to use. Cypress runs with Mocha as testing frameworks. Playwright has support for Mocha, but also Jest and Jasmine and many others actually. So you have like more freedom with Playwright. Selenium and Cypress have a strong community because like they have been out there for like longer, so you have a lot of support of that. Playwright, it's simply like too young for that, so you need a little bit of time for that. It's new, but it's still, now we are like actually finding something more. you can use the three tools like for small or large project, but if you have like some large and complex project, I suggest to use Selenium or Playwright, because like with Cypress you have like some limitation. Cypress works inside the browser, so it has like some limitation of how much you can do at the same times, and in particular, like you cannot like test on different tabs at the same times. Just work on one window at a time. If you are like working with JavaScript, you should like test with JavaScript technologies. So Cypress and Playwright are great options. Cypress is specialized on that. Playwright is like Microsoft, and you know, like TypeScript is Microsoft, so they have like great support for that. If your program is like on Microsoft stack, for example, it should be like tests with Microsoft technologies, and Selenium is like really good on that, and Playwright as well is their product, so why not? So yeah, this is like all for me. Here you can find all the code, everything that I've showed you today, and also like some other advanced that I didn't show you. You can find it on my GitHub. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Soumaya. That's been a very interesting talk, and we've got some time for questions, should there be any. We've got this nice catch box. I can try throwing it around or just walk down the aisle to you. And the first question is right up here in front, so let's see.
Thank you, Soumaya, for the great presentation. We enjoyed it, and looking forward to, of course, further interactions. Just a quick one around Selenium, and my name is, by the way, my name is Joshua. I've used it, but I've used it as an automation tool for RPA. What would be your comments around it as an RPA tool? Do you think the opportunities around there?
Like opportunity on using like Selenium like right now?
Yeah. I mean, as an automation tool, not just as testing, but as an RPA, robotic process automation tool. Yeah.
Okay. I've never done something like that. I've just like used Selenium for testing, but I think that like for automation, like also not just Selenium, like all the tools that we've seen today, but also like Puppeteer, I've used that for automation a lot. They can be used for that, but I don't usually do that, so I cannot like give you like a real use case.
Are there any other questions in the audience? Raise your hands, don't be shy. Perfect, here in the front row.
Thank you for the presentation. You mentioned the Playwright documentation is terrible. I can agree to that. Okay. Do you know any community or any specific communities where to find the best help for it?
Actually, when I started with the official one, because I usually go to the official one. I found that something is missing. So if you don't know what is going on, it's like just it's not working and you don't know why. So in those particular cases when I got like errors or something wasn't working, I was just like looking for like articles and stuff. So I've just like created my own like documentation by like adding some steps that were like missing and just filling it from like articles in particular. Yeah.
So if we have a problem we can't fix, then we just contact you. Okay.
Maybe I can. This is a good idea. I can like add like tech article about Playwright and add like my personal documentation on that. Okay. It will be handy.
Thank you.
Perfect. One more question. Anybody? Maybe in the back? Okay. Then I got a question. Okay. Some time ago I came across Storybook, which is another tool for testing UI components and stuff. So do you have any opinion on that? Because I saw that some newer frameworks like Redwood.js or something come with support for Storybook out of the box.
Well, I've never tried it, actually, because I've tried to use like open source ones and like something that is more like community. And I think that in particular, like Cypress and Playwright was something that I've chosen, like personally. Selenium was like something that I was using because my company told me to use that. And like with Playwright in particular, I found that it's like more community driven as like a tool. With Storybook, I just see it as a commercial thing. And so it's not like something that I will support, if I need to be totally honest, sorry.
That's fine, yeah, understandable. Okay, so let's go ahead and thank Soumaya again for a great informative talk.
Thank you.
And